So hi everyone, welcome to my channel Excel with UT again. So in today's video we would be covering yet another important function that is called the count function, and we will see all the variants of count that we have in Excel. Okay, so count function primarily it counts, if we just talk about the count function. So primarily it counts the total number of numeric values in a range. Okay, and also that can be date, time, it will count that. Okay, for example, if you see the column here, it has all kind of values here. Okay, but if you take the count of this particular column here, it will give the result as 3 because only 3 numeric values are here. Okay, then CountA is another function similar to count, but what it does, it will count all the values in a specified range, whether it is numeric and non-numeric and any other format. It can be error as well. Okay, so if you see this particular column here, it has a text value, it has an error, it has a blank space, it has a numeric value. Okay, so the result is 4 since there are 4 values in this range. So CountA will count all the values in the range except the blank one. Okay, so this is what CountA does. Now we have CountBlank. CountBlank is another count function which will count only the blank in the range basically. Okay, so if you see in this particular formation here, we only have 2 blanks here. Okay, so if we take the count blank for this complete column, we will get the result as 2. Then CountIf is another important function. It is similar to what we had in the earlier session, SumIf, just that it's doing the count operations here. Okay, so CountIf, again, it will count the number of cells in a particular range based out of a condition. Okay, so if you see in this particular formation, we have a list of values here, and when we apply CountIf, the condition, and we give the condition that the values should be counted basis it is a text, the result we get is 1 because we only have one text value there. Just remember, it will only count the condition that you give. Okay, and lastly we have the CountIfs, which is actually an advanced version of the if formula. Okay, so this is basically it gives you an option to select multiple criteria which are available in multiple ranges. Okay, so if you see in this particular example, the condition I've given is numeric and it has counted 2. Okay, so you can use CountIfs as well in place of CountIf, because for example, if you have more than one range, then CountIfs formula will directly work as well. Now let's go to the data tab and let's see these examples in practical. Okay, so we have a chunk of data here which is showing the sales in different countries for different vehicle, car, bus, truck, minibus. Okay, and we'll see how all of these formulas get applied here. So we have here, let's see the count here. So we'll just start and we'll say count. I'll press tab, activate the formula, and if I just count, I'll give the range here. I'll close the formula and it will give me the count of all the values which were numeric here. So if you see, this column had all the values as numeric and it has counted everything and it has given me the result as 20. However, if I just apply this formula in this particular range, I have just clicked on the range and manually dragged it here. And if I just press enter here, it will give me 13, because if you see, it only has 13 numeric numbers here and just here. Okay, so this is what the count does. Now let's see what does CountA does. So we'll just use the formula CountA, press tab to enter the formula. Okay, and again, if we select this range here, control shift down, and I close the bracket, it will give me the result as 16. Now, as I mentioned earlier that CountA will count all the values that are there in the range except the blank values. So if you see, the total values in this particular range is 16. It has ignored the two blank values here, and it has given the result as 16. Okay. Now count blank. So what it does, count blank, if I open the formula count blank and again select this range here, I'll do Control Shift down, select this range, and I'll say enter. It has given me 2. So it has specifically counted these two cells here because these are the two blank cells here. Okay. So this is what the CountIf does. And if you just want to cross check here, you can just apply the range here, and let me take the complete column here. I'll say enter the value 0 since we don't have any blank values. Okay. Now CountIf, again it's similar to sum, just we are using the count function here. When we do CountIf, I'll activate this formula. I'll say range. I'll take this range here, and the criteria, let me give the criteria greater than 500 here. Close the bracket, say enter, and I'll say the result is 1. Now you can see in this particular range, there's only one value which is more than 500. So that's the reason it's giving the count as 1. Okay. Now CountIf again, since so it will count basis more than one condition. So let me just use it straight away. I'll say CountIfs, and you can see I can select the range here. So I've selected this range. Okay, and let me just give the criteria. So for example, I'm just giving the criteria as India. I'll close it. So it is giving me the value as 5. Okay, because we have 5 India in this. Now similarly, if you have multiple values in the column, so I'll just say CountIfs. I'll open the formula. So if you want to see how multiple criteria can be put in using this CountIf, so I'll just show you here. Let's use the CountIf. Ifs function, we'll select this. Let's select the first criteria range. So I'm taking this range. For the criteria, I can select the criteria here. When it's asking me to give the criteria range to, I'll select this range. For the criteria, let me just again take greater than 500 as the criteria. Now you can see I've given 2 ranges and I've given 2 criteria. When I close this bracket, it should be giving me the result as per both the conditions. Now if I see here, my first condition was the country as United States. I can see these are the United States area, and the sales greater than 1 is 500. So it has just taken the sum basis these 2 conditions, and it has given me the result as 1. Just remember, when you're using multiple conditions here, the multiple condition here, the length of the range should be aligned. Okay, this is how you will be able to take the count of the values which are matching both the criteria. Okay, so I think I've covered all the major variations of count here. Let me just know if the video was helpful for you, and we'll soon meet in our next video. Thank you.